Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Each one of you is welcomed from wherever you are connecting. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, the awakened one and nature of his sleep. What is the nature of the sleep of an awakened one? The question always comes in human mind, does he dream? It is natural that you can have any question arising in your mind, but before asking a question, does a person dream? How does a dream happen? How does dream happen? What happens during the day? Mind remains active. It goes on processing the thoughts, ideas, concepts, views, so many things. Then you are a social being. Certain are responded. Certain out of courtesy you cannot respond because of your religious conditionings and bindings. So what happens? Those go in your deeper layers, subconscious layers, and they keep on accumulating there. So in the night, the conscious mind is not working, is put to sleep, but the unconscious mind remains awake and continues to dream. This is the sequence how dream happens. Whatsoever remains unfinished during the day goes to the unconscious layer and manifests as a dream. When unconsciousness is no more, nothing is going into the unconscious layer. Whatsoever you see happening around you, you sort it out immediately. There are certain things over which you have no control, but you are Mr. Unnecessary. Everybody responds to a particular situation or circumstance according to his or her own understanding. People have opinions about me, but this is their opinion. It has nothing to do with me. I am what I know I am. But you think and you analyze and interpret me according to your own understanding. When I speak on a particular topic, there is a reason behind it. It is for explanation and for the understanding of the people. If you go to a gynecologist, can you expect him not to use those terms which your religious preceptors find as dirty words? And if a master is using, the questions are raised. When a doctor is speaking, using those terms, it is to bring you out of that state. I recall in India, Women are very conservative. They do not want to be examined by male doctors. So the doctors also take care of those situations. So a woman comes as a patient. She has the problem with piles. Doctors said that I need to do a physical examination. So he would have used the terms, words, which in your religious jargon, conditioning, are considered as wrong words. So she told the doctor that I would like to get examined by a female doctor. Understanding the situation, he referred her to a female gynecologist, female doctor. So you have to understand, when you see, when a question is asked, does an awakened one dream? So you consider he looks like you, he talks, walks, does everything like you, but you do not see the change or transformation that has happened deep within in his consciousness. So you think you are being used by anger, he is using anger as a tool. The difference is between a bandit using a knife and a doctor, a surgeon using the knife. One uses to take life, the other to give life. So an awakened one cannot dream. And if you like dreams very much, then there is no need to become enlightened. This you have to be aware. Dreaming is part of sleep, and sleep is an unconscious act. And sometimes people, they speak as well. They also speak. So these things do happen. Dreaming is part of sleep. The first thing is that dreaming to happen, you must move into sleep. For ordinary dreams, you have to move into the sleep. In sleep, you become unconscious. You have no consciousness of any kind. You are unconscious, and in that state dream happens. They happen only in a state of your unconsciousness. An awakened or enlightened one is one in whom there is no unconsciousness. There is unconsciousness means dark corners. There are no dark corners around him or within him. He cannot be unconscious even if you give him an anesthesia, chloroform, or any other thing. It will affect only on the periphery. He may go to sleep, but deep down he will remain conscious. His consciousness cannot be disturbed in any situation. At times you may feel different about him when he uses anger as a tool or anything as a tool. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that while everyone sleeps, yogi remains awake. It is not that yogi is not going to sleep in the night. They also sleep. But there is a difference in the quality of the sleep of an awakened one and and that of an ordinary unconscious person. An awakened one, his body sleeps. You may wonder how the body could sleep and mind remains awake. Mind is already conscious. When you are in a particular activity, the thoughts, the flow of thoughts become less, and when you are resting, so all those thoughts are getting an opportunity to start doing their wrestling within you. A whole night's sleep, and in the morning when you get up, you feel exhausted. What is happening? There are people who are within the energy field, or meditation is deepening to some extent. Their sleep begins to change. During the day, when they interact in their own activities, by evening they are exhausted, because unconsciously they are engaging in the activities, but in the night, because of meditativeness, because of the energy field, the quality of the sleep begins to change. I am not saying that the dream is vanished. Quality is changing at a slow pace. So by the time you get up, you are fresh. Besides that, every night when you are asleep, for a certain fractions of a second, you disappear. The sleep goes into disturbed sleep, dreaming sleep, dreamless sleep, sound sleep. So this is dreamless sound sleep. This moment comes only for a few seconds. During that time, you disappear. You do not know what had happened to you. And that moment you are connected to the cosmic source. And if you do not sleep, those moments, you will be exhausted when you get up in the morning. You will not be fresh. So this time is not fixed. It is determined on the basis of it differs from person to person. It happens that whole night you could not sleep, but around 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock you fell asleep. And that sleep is more than enough to refresh you in the morning. Not 8 hours of sleep. So when it is said yogi sleeps less, he rests. He has known that clock, when is the time that he will get refreshed. He will be in that communion with the existence, and so that much sleep is enough for him. You may be sleeping 8 hours. The normal sleep is considered to be 8 hours. For years, my sleep pattern is different. I wake up around 3:30 in the morning, and during the night a couple times I wake up, and then the time to go to rest differs depending on the work that I have to finish for the day and the state of the body situation. So sometimes I may go to sleep early, sometimes 10, 11 I am still awake, but in each situation I will get up around 3:30. So the whole night, in an ordinary person, there remains an inner turmoil. Body is not at rest because the mind is so active. During the day, the mind is active, trying to process all the information that comes into it through conscious mind, and in the night, It is processing the residue of the information which you had not been able to process in an unconscious manner. And the activity of mind is bound to be is an exertion for the body. If your mind is at rest, then there is a particular composition. जब दिल को नींद आ जाती है, रूह भी कुछ गाफिल होती है, फिर मैं ही अकेला होता हूँ और यार की महफिल होती है. When heart is asleep, that time ruh is also intoxicated. Then I am all alone and there is a company of the existence, yar. The word yar, Rab, is used for the existential energy field that we call, know as God or Allah or any name. These are the metaphorical names for that which cannot be named. You cannot, that which is existential, you cannot give it a name. It is only known metaphorically by different names. The activity of mind means there is a parallel activity going on in the body. Body is an obedient servant of the mind, as is the state of the mind. Body responds to that. And if anything has entered, whatsoever is entering you through the sense organs, which are the part of the body, and if their nature, they settle in the mind in as an emotional state. So through the mind, if mind is not at rest, the body will not be at rest, and vice versa. What does this mean for someone to become enlightened? It means one thing now: he is perfectly, totally conscious. Whatsoever goes on in his mind, he is aware. Whatsoever thought comes in his mind, he is aware of it. And the moment you are aware, certain things completely stop immediately. I do not have a control on what others say, but I have a control on to react or not to react. This is what one of the Sufi kalmat, which was the way of Sufi Shakuntala Devi, be always happy. Every moment, circumstance and situation brings a situation in front of you where you have an option to accept it or not to accept it. If you accept it, you are happy. If you do not accept it, you are unhappy. And there are two different routes. And the moment you are aware, certain things completely stop. Just awareness alone settles that. With awareness alone, they dissolve. It is just like the room is in dark. You do not come to take out the darkness from the room, just like you come and you bring the broom and try to clean up, and you remove the garbage, remove all the dirty, all that is unacceptable. But it is not the situation with darkness. Darkness, you have nothing to do. All you have to do is just bring a light. How feeble it might be, it doesn't matter. You can bring a torch light. Darkness in a certain area will disappear. The moment you turn on the light in the room, By changing the bulb, all the darkness vanishes. So, bringing the light into the room, the whole room gets illumined. This is the state of meditation. It is just like the room is dark and you bring a candle, the darkness will disappear. Everything will not disappear. When the light comes in, when the room was dark, you could not see. You know there are cupboards, there are shelves, there are tables, there are things, but you are not able to see. But the moment you bring a candle light, the darkness disappears, but everything else will not disappear. These bookshelves, these desks, these cupboards, all the other accessories will not disappear. By bringing the candle, only darkness disappears. So the thoughts and everything remains there as it is. When someone becomes enlightened, now he has an inner light. That inner light is called as awareness. Through that awareness, sleep disappears. Nothing else. Sleep disappears, but because sleep disappears, when the sleep disappears, the quality of everything else changes. Your quality of the sleep has changed. So when the sleep was outcome of an unconscious state, there were dreams, there were other things. Now the quality of the sleep has changed, so everything changed. Now whatsoever he is going to do will be out of his total alertness, and that which needs, there are things that needs unconsciousness on your part, they are no more. Because unconsciousness is the prerequisite that has become impossible now. He cannot be angry, not because it is a decision not to be angry. He cannot be angry. Anger can exist only when you are unconscious. Now, unconsciousness is not there. How can there be all the other things? Just as when the light is there, whatsoever heaps of garbage you have seen all around are not there. They can be removed very easily. So, when an awakened one, he is able to remove those things instantaneously before they actually begin to recede inside. Now, the many things happen while we are driving, while we are interacting into the world of objects and beings. Certain things you like, certain things you do not like. So you can process them immediately. Now, you bring a gift, somebody gives you a gift. You bring the gift. So, there are two ways of opening the gifts, the wedding gifts. You can sit down in the room. You can make a pile of the packings and then the gift separately, then you go and remove it. When we had the garment factory, we had to package the garments, fold it and package it into clear plastic bags before marketing. So when we were sealing the bags, there were certain, the part of the bag is to be removed, because when you seal, it is at a particular place, and so the one part is the packaged garment, the other is the other thing. So I keep on telling the workers that take an empty garbage bag. As you are sealing, using the sealing machine, you are holding the hand which is a waste, which has to be thrown. So holding it, put it immediately in the garbage bin, in the garbage bag. No, they will have it scattered. And then, so they are slippery. So if you fall down, that is not my problem. If you stumble on that, that is not my problem. And I am not, and then they will spend time sweeping out everything. Some they has flown because they are very light, flown, gone into this corner or that corner, and all have to be swept out to clean the place. But I ease up my work by simply keeping a garbage bag there and throw the waste in the garbage bag instantaneously. This is an enlightened way. When we change the boxes which are damaged, like sometimes there is a need to change a particular box. Let's say the packing has come new, we have to change the box. So the old packing we have to destroy. You can scatter it, throw it on the ground, and then use the broom to sweep it out. The other way is you are keeping a garbage bin around you, garbage bag. Just stick up on the desk, table, wherever you are, and it has a wide open mouth. So as the box is removed from there, you can throw it. Put it in that bag. And so there will be less mess around you. If you can know the technique of sorting out the things when they are actually happening, you will not have any residue or the work afterwards to do. The same thing when you are doing in the kitchen. You can keep on piling up the dishes, and when you are finished, some of the dishes get dry, the food contents get dried up, then you have to soak it in water, and it will take a much longer time to clean it than if you have done it instantaneously. And by the time you have finished the kitchen work, there will be no remaining dishes to be cleaned. Or there is someone who is simultaneously doing, but in a case like this in the kitchen, there is an assistant who is cleaning up the dishes instantaneously. You need so many knives, but you may need knife for different things. But after using one knife for one item, you put it in the garbage bin, you will need another knife. So a situation will come when all the tools will be finished using. Then what will happen? You will need extra tools. Where will you bring it from? You are endowed. Everyone has a limited number of tools, inwardly and outwardly. In the kitchen, you have less number of pots that you need to use to clean. If in the pot that you made the tea, the same pot you have to use to make the gravy, so you put that. Now where will you get the next pot to cook the gravy? And if you had cooked one gravy, you need another pot to cook next gravy. So in the same way, the techniques for the inner transformation, inner cleanliness are limited. So instantaneously, when the things are happening, when you are interacting in the world of objects and beings, you process them immediately. Certain things are immediately to be thrown in the garbage bag. As I gave you the example, when we are changing the boxes of any ingredient, so because there is a new box, so the new box has to change. You have to discard the old box. You can scatter it on the ground, and after finishing, maybe during that state you have no place to walk, then you have to clean. The other thing is this: you keep a garbage bag around you in a comfortable position, that as you empty the old box, you can throw it in that garbage bag. So immediately you have solved the problem. This you can do when you are interacting with objects and beings in the world. So by the time you are finished, night approaches, you have no residue in you to take care of it. And all that residue that you have thrown on the ground, that becomes a part, that is the outcome of your unconsciousness, and that will go into your dream state. So you can do it, and that way you will not have, the dreaming will become impossible. The dreaming is a state of the uncanniness, absence of cleanliness. So you have not sorted out those thoughts and ideas when they were happening. Now they have become residue, and if all those boxes that you had to change, you have thrown on the ground, or the residue of the plastic bag that you have to throw in the garbage after the garment is sealed in the plastic bag, you throw it on the ground, they will get scattered, and you will need much more time to clean. So you have done that work. Now sit down and dream, and take your hour to clean up the place. So dream is the process of cleaning the unwanted, the work that you have not done it, a work for which you have not done it, you did not know the technique of keeping your surroundings clean. When you are doing the work, there is a certain amount of surrounding which gets dirty. You can keep it clean the same time, simultaneously, as you are working and you are cleaning as well. Then you do not have to work afterwards. You do not have to, then those things will not go into your unconscious layer, and then you will be dreaming those things overnight. You might have seen Buddha's pictures showing him sleeping. His posture is called the lying posture. There is one particular statue of Buddha lying in a particular posture. He would remain in the same posture whole night. Anand, who was his cousin and who was older than him, and he used to sleep in the same room, and he used to watch Buddha while he was sleeping. He said he does not change the posture even while he is asleep. So Anand asked, "Tell me, what are you doing whole night? You remain in one posture." Buddha reported to have said, "Only once did I move in my sleep. Only once did I move in my sleep, and then I was not a Buddha. Just a few days before the enlightenment happened, I moved in my sleep." Yes, there is a thing when there is a bodily, there is a bodily discomfort, and you are absorbed in the bodily discomfort, you have to move. If you become unaware of the bodily discomforts, then there is no need. You become completely unaware of the body, and you know that you are consciousness, then you don't need to change. Then just a few days before the enlightenment happened, I moved in my sleep, and I am aware. It may happen when you are sleeping. Normally you are sleeping, and when you are turning your sides, you are not aware. It is happening unconsciously. The moment you are awakened, even if you have to take a turn on your sides, you are aware that I am turning my sides. Each time a side is turned, you are aware of it. You are aware of every movement that is happening in you. Just a few days before enlightenment, it happened. I moved in my sleep, and then suddenly I became aware, and I wondered, why am I moving? I moved unconsciously without any knowing on my part. Most of the time when you turn into your sleep, you are unaware of this. Why are you turning on this in this sleep? You are unaware. But after enlightenment, there is no need. If I want, I can move, but there is no need. And even if I want and I turn, I am aware that I am turning on my side. And the body is so relaxed. At times it may be necessary that I may have to change, but I am aware of that changing of the sides. Consciousness penetrates even into sleep, but you can have a fixed posture the whole night and you will not be enlightened. You can practice it. It is not difficult. You can force yourself, then within a few days you will be able to remain in one posture during the sleep. But this is not the point. If you look at Jesus moving, do not think why is he moving. It depends. Jesus moves in his sleep, but he is conscious. If he wants to move, he moves. If he has a need to move, he moves. The consciousness has entered into his sleep. For me, it happens quite the reverse. Before coming to awareness, I slept always in one posture the whole night. I do not remember ever moving, but since then I have been moving whole night. Every few minutes are enough for me to be in one posture. I have to move again and again. But I am so aware that it is not a sleep at all really. So it depends upon. Buddha remained in one posture without changing. You can remain in that position, in one position by practice. One can remain in changing the posture, but it all happens because of consciousness. For an enlightened one, awareness will remain there even in his sleep, and then dreams are not possible. Dreams require the state of unconsciousness. It is one thing. That is one thing, and they require suspended experience. This is the second thing. I'll come to you what is suspended experience. That is a second thing. And for an enlightened one, there is no suspended experience. Suspended experience means something which is incomplete. He's talking to you, he's finished for the day. It's not that he has to continue the talk the next day. The next day, if he has to continue along the same line, it will be altogether a new topic. Everything is complete. He has eaten his food. Now he is not thinking about eating again for a certain period of time. Your situation is, I have eaten this, what to eat now? What to eat now? When he feels hungry, he will eat again. But in the meanwhile, in that duration of that gap, he will not eat again. But meanwhile, at the same time, there is no thought of eating. Sometimes this situation comes to you. Even if a platter, you get the smell of the food, you will not eat. I'll give you an example. Whenever there used to be an occasion, the family gathering or anything, I had to go. So I ask the person, I look at the menu, the buffet table or where the food is, what are the different dishes. So out of those dishes, it may be necessary that I may take a small portion of each dish that seems that I can consume to taste. And then whichever one I would prefer to finish the meals with, I will use that. But if something comes, so I need to know what are the different dishes out of which I will choose when I have eaten. Then I cannot eat anything else. Now it is said, when the dinner is finished, the meals are finished, then the dessert comes in. So, if the dessert is not visible on the dining table, I am not assuming I am finished with the dinner or with the meals. If it comes in afterwards, so sometimes the family members comes in, the wife comes, the children comes, or somebody else comes. Oh, that is tasting very nice. Okay, maybe tasting nice, but my stomach is not a garbage bin. And I do not want to waste that delicious dish that you are talking about by putting it into the garbage bin. Because right now, I don't need to eat anything. If you feel that it is so delicious that I will like it, you can pack it and give it to me. I'll carry it home. When the next time my next meal time comes for me, I will eat it. So this is the state of completion. There is no suspended action. Nothing is suspended in the air. Because the mind cannot allow anything to be incomplete. If something is incomplete, there is an inner uneasiness, and you have eaten and now you are wondering, where is the dessert? The dessert has to be there, but I am not seeing it. You are looking for the dessert. So uneasiness in the mind. It wonders how to complete it. Without the dessert, the meal remains incomplete. Then in a dream, you complete it. And you are at ease, even if it is completed in the dream. For the mind, it is relaxation. What are you dreaming? What is the nature of your dreams? You are just completing your incomplete acts which you could not complete during the day. One day you wanted to kiss a woman or a man and you could not do that. Now you will kiss her or him during the dream state, and your mind will feel relaxed, tension will be released. And when you are kissing her naturally, in the conscious state, you may be welcomed with something. But during this dream, nothing will happen. You will feel relaxed. Your dreaming is nothing else but your incompleteness. And an enlightened person is complete during his waking state. While he is interacting with objects and beings, he completes every situation. I am finished with you completely at that moment. Sometimes people will say that we will come back again and we have a good chat again. We had a nice chat. Sorry, you cannot meet me again. What do you mean by that? Because I am speaking my language means I am not a station, I am not a table, I am not a couch that you can meet in the same position, same place where you had met the couch the last time. You could not see the movements of the energy in that. The energy is static in that, no movement. But an individual is a reservoir, pool of energy that is constantly flowing. Heraclitus says you cannot enter the same river twice. But you say, I go to the same river again and again. But you do not know what is river. River is not your couch that you go on sitting down every day. River is a flow. There are two shores. Between the two shores there is a river bed where the water is flowing. Is water stationary? The river is not a pond where water is stuck in a particular place and it does not move. So river stinks. River flows and it takes away the garbage. Meditation is rivering, is river-like. And life, unconsciousness is like a pool where the water does not remain clean. You do not drink the water of a pool or a pond, but you drink the water of the river. Although many things are being done in the river, you go to Holy Ganges, people are bathing, doing all these, yet still you can just move with the hand and you can consume that water. But you cannot do that in your swimming pool. Because the swimming pool's water is not flowing. It is being recycled, it is being processed, it is being filtering every moment. It is filtered in a particular way because the swimming pool have their own way of doing that. Your dreaming is nothing else with an expression of your incompleteness. An enlightened one is complete. Whatsoever he is doing it so totally, so wholly, that nothing remains suspended into his consciousness, hanging in his consciousness. There is no need for any more dreaming. Dreaming in the night will ease, and thinking during the day too will ease. Thinking is also a part of dreaming during the conscious state. During conscious state you think, during the sleep you dream. So dream and thinking is the same thing. Thinking happens during the conscious state, dreaming happens during unconscious state. It is not that he will become unable to think, that a Buddha cannot think. You can ask him a question, he will think immediately they respond. Last night, someone has asked around 9 or afterwards, the message came, the person asked a question. The question, you are using your smartphone, iPhone or Samsung. I use the iPhone. So the screen is small, you have to use one finger to type, and the message was quite long. It could not be just put it into a telegraphic message. So I had to type, and it took almost 30 minutes to type out the entire matter because it was necessary. Someone has asked you a question, so he is expecting an answer. And then you know who had asked the question. Who had asked the question? Has the question arisen out of curiosity or a genuine need for transformation? Understanding. Questions may arise out of curiosity. Questions may arise out of having a deeper understanding. When the question arises from the deepest core for bringing a better understanding, then it becomes the responsibility of the master, the awakened one, to respond to those questions. So sometimes it happens the response can be given through the transfer of the energy, which Sufis call as tawajjuh. It can, if you can decipher the excuse me, or it can be in the verbal form. So it did take time. If you ask him a question, he will think. The question was, after a little prefix, the question was God and avatar, incarnation. Is God and avatar same? Now God is a presence. God is a presence. That presence that encompasses everything that surrounds you, sentient and insentient. Now thinking is involved into it. And you cannot give a name to something which is presence, so you use the metaphorical name Bhagwan, Allah, God, Father, or whatsoever it is. All these are metaphorical names for which that cannot be given any name, form and shape. The water, can you give any shape to the water? Water acquires the shape wherever it is put. So God, Father, Allah, all these are containers where you are putting that essence. It is limited. It acquires the shape. For Hindus, that presence becomes Bhagwan, Ishwar. And for Muslims, it becomes the container, the shape takes the shape of container and becomes Allah. For Christians, it becomes Father. But Ishopanishad very clearly says, Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kinch jagatyan jagat tenu tyaktenu bhunjitha magradha kashyasvidam. Ishavasyamidam sarvam idam. It permeates the entire cosmos. If you understand this, if you live by this, you can enjoy the fruits of the existence. So this is God, is a name given to a presence, and the various names that are used by different communities, different people, different religions are metaphorical expressions. And what is avatar? Avatar relates to the birth. When that existential energy field assumes the birth, that process of birth is known as avatar. Everyone is, for that matter, avatar. It can be conscious, it can be unconscious. Most of us are born, take incarnation as out of unconscious process. Then there is a conscious process, and conscious process can be the awakened one chooses his place of birth. Like if you want to visit a particular country, a new country, a place as a tourist, so you make all the arrangements consciously. You inquire about the place, how the flights, everything, places where to stay, places where you can visit. So all these consciously you make arrangement. The other is unconsciously, you just go there and is stumbling at the airport looking for the place where to stay. Whereas if you have consciously made the arrangement prior, then somebody is there to receive you at the airport. The people from the hotel, their transport is available at the moment, instantaneously. As soon as you come out of the immigration and customs, the people will come. They have a play card displaying your name and you enter there. So this is a conscious birth. Now, you may not be familiar with all that. So you told your friend, you have been to UK many times. Can you make arrangement for me to stay in the hotel? You know what are the good hotels, because I have to visit this place, this place. I will be around this, and from there I could go to other countries. So you make arrangement for me to stay in a particular place, hotel, which is convenient, and around there are restaurants at a walking distance and all that. So you can make the arrangement to someone else. This is the other aspect of the conscious worth. When a prediction is made for a particular master, so it is because of certain circumstances. So all these was explained to him in the form of writing, because the person has asked the question. Before that, I did not know the answer. Because the question was asked, so the process of thinking was used, and without the process of thinking, you cannot form the sentences properly. If the thinking is not going on simultaneously at the back, the sentences will be haphazard and you will not understand the subject matter or the talk or this live streaming whatsoever I am speaking, because there is a format, there is a way of choice of the words that you can understand. If I use certain words which you cannot understand, I may have to give you an explanation for that. So this is how it happens. First you think, then you reply. But his reply is his thinking. He thinks and replies. That is also not good to say, because actually there is a gap between your thinking and replies. You think and then afterwards you reply. But if it is simultaneously happening, it was happening simultaneously. The thinking is going on, the response is coming, the subject matter is being typed out. So because actually there is no gap between what has to be put together and what not. You are not looking here and there where to find the answers. There is no gap, it is simultaneously. He thinks out loud, but there is no rehearsal for him. No thinking, no dreaming. He lives life as it is. With thinking and dreaming, when the thinking and dreaming takes hold of you, you miss life. Osho spoke spontaneously. This is what called spontaneous speaking. Osho spoke spontaneously on any topic. Anyone ask him the question in Buddha Hall or in any commune, Osho has a ready-made answer, because he is the answer. It's not that he has answer. He is the answer, and he uses the technology to bring out that answer. So only this much for this morning until the journey, but the journey will continue until we meet again. Take care and do have a pleasant day.